This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com, and in today's video, I'm going to stop you from making a huge mistake. I'm going to stop you from making a huge mistake when dealing with debt collectors by teaching you the truth about statute of limitations on debt collections. If you missed this video, you could be paying the price that a lot of people are paying right now, paying for debts that they are not legally obligated to pay, because of the pressure and the strategies and the techniques and the emotional triggers. We got that word out there, the triggering of people that debt collectors are using right now. And this is even being utilized by our government to make people pay debts that they don't even have to pay. And yes, there is a statute of limitations even on debt, even on tax. But I understand that you can get emotional. We can all get emotional. And when someone is attacking you, because I think that we can all agree we want to take care of our family, want to keep our lifestyle. We don't want anything to happen with our money. We want stuff to just be calm and easy. You want to go to work or run your business and come home, relax, and have things just go smoothly. But it doesn't always happen that way. The statute of limitations is a legal time limit that creditors and debt collectors have to sue you for debt and also collect on the debt. After that time runs out, they can't legally force you to pay through taking you to court. They can't legally force you to pay by just sending you letters in the mail all the time. They have no legal option. But here's the trick that they try to play, is that they will try to get you to collect because they can legally still send you letters and advertisements and phone calls unless you tell them to stop, to try to get you to pay that debt. Some of them will even say that you have a moral obligation to pay. And I would say that that's up to you. If there's a debt that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect and you feel that you have a moral obligation to pay it, then go with your moral obligation. There's no right or wrong. But if you do not have the funds to pay, maybe you're getting yourself back reestablished. Like I just spoke with a gentleman who just went through a very tough divorce, and I'm pretty sure his ex-wife and himself, they are trying to reestablish themselves, and there's certain debts that he had and certain debts that were given to her to take care of. And if it's past legal statute of limitation and the person is trying to reestablish themselves, I think that it would be fair, just as if a company was to file bankruptcy, that you would not have to pay that debt. So let's go over some of the time limit. In most states, and these are the averages, and you can always go to the creditrepairshop.com, my blog, and click on type statute, and you'll see the statute of limitations for all 50 states. But in general, credit card debts have the lowest statute of limitations date across the board, but some states do have the same statute of limitations for written and for oral and for open-end accounts, which would be credit card accounts. But most of them are from 3 to 6 years. Medical debt from 3 to 6 years. Auto loan 4 to 6 years. Written contracts could be from 4 to 10 years. There is one state that has a longer statute of limitations than even than 10 years. 10 years is even ridiculous. So remember, these vary state by state. In my state of Wisconsin, it's 6 years for most debt. In Mississippi, it's just 3 years. So you can see that it varies. So it's very important when a debt collector sends you a debt, you need to check your statute of limitations. So now, the countdown starts from the date of your last payment, not from the charge-off date. So the time clock starts to tick from the last payment. But if you make a partial payment or even acknowledge the debt in writing, it can restart the clock. I'll repeat that again. If you make an initial payment or even acknowledge the debt, it could restart the clock. I have not to this day, probably since 2008 when CFPB came into action and they kind of updated the laws when it came to dealing with debt collectors. It would be very difficult to acknowledge a debt, but if you acknowledge it in writing, you are definitely resetting the debt because you are actually saying that this debt is yours and that you're coming up with some agreement. I sincerely apologize for that. I thought I put my phone on silent. So Just to reiterate, if you make a partial payment, you're restarting the clock. And if you put something in writing that would be considered a contract, it would be restarting the clock. Talking on the phone does not restart the clock as long as you don't attest to the debt. The reason why I use that word attest, that means that they can ask you a question and say, is this debt yours? Absolutely not. You will not. If you get asked that question, they try to use some tricky terminology, but if you ever get the question to say, do you attest to this debt? You would say absolutely not. You say, Stephen A. Williams told me to say no. No, I'm just joking about that. But you do not want to attest to the debt. You do not want to make any payment. I don't care if they say 1 penny. No payment. I don't care if they say make a payment and we'll stop calling you and give you some breathing room. Don't do that. You just tell them to send it to you in writing. Number one, if you tell them to send it to you in writing, they don't have your information, then they shouldn't even be talking to you on the phone. And they might say, well, we want to verify your address. Well, then they should tell you the address. You should not be giving them information. Because if they're the true owner of the account, if they have all the information to verify or validate the account that they have, then they should be able to send you the information. They should already have it. Wouldn't you agree on that? So you don't talk to any of these people until you know that you know fully and understand that you know your rights and that you do not have to attest to the debt or admit to the debt to have them send something to you in writing, and you do not need to make any payment or agree to any payment or agree to any agreement to be able to get those documents sent to you so you can see what the whole thing is all about. Now, debt collectors can still call you. They can threaten to a certain level, and they can even send fake documents and notices, even though they're not supposed to be doing that stuff. They will do this just to try to get you emotional, to try to scare you. But here's the key. They cannot legally sue you or garnish your wages after the statute of limitations expires. If they do, you can sue them under the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act for violating your rights because it states it in there. And that brings to my mind the word time barred. In the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, it says time barred debt. That means that's the same as statute of limitations. They cannot take you to court over a debt that's past legal statute of limitations to collect. Now, if they start their court action before the statute of limitations, that's a different story. But after the statute of limitations, they cannot. So now, if you're being chased down for old debts, don't admit to it. Send a debt validation letter. Check your state's statute of limitations. Keep records of every interaction that you have with these people. I know that can be tough. But keep those records. All you got to do is just write, after you get off the phone with them, write down everything that you remember. And if they're supposed to send you a document, or if you need to call them back and tell them to send you a document, you can do that as long as you follow the rules. What did I say earlier? I said, don't attest to the debt. Don't give them your information. If they have what they're supposed to have, they would know where they need to send it to. And never sign any agreement, never make any payment, nothing like that. You got to protect yourself, protect your assets. So if you have debt collectors calling you and you need to get a debt validation letter, if they're calling you, you say send you the information. Once they send you the information, I want you to go to summinsmaster.com, upload that document so you can get what I call an exclusive certified debt validation letter created so you can stop that debt collector from coming after you. Even if the original creditor sends you a notice for debt, it would still be wise to do that because it's probably been a while that you've interacted with that original creditor and you want to make sure that everything is above board. Everything's above board. The fees, the interest, everything that they're charging, because they can balloon these debts up crazy, and you might want to check that, or I won't say might, you should check that against your state laws on what they're allowed to charge for fees, late fees, interest, all type of stuff, because that could help you if you get into a settlement situation with them, or it could potentially help you stop them from coming after you because they violated your rights according to your state laws. And with debt collectors, you're definitely going to want to send that debt validation because they have to go extra steps if they've purchased that debt. And that with Summons Master, with the debt validation feature, you'll be able to get that letter prepared. All you have to do is sign and date it, send it out to them. It can stop a lot of debt collectors from coming after you, and it can get you into a great position, even with an original creditor. If you have debt collectors suing you in court, you're already past that step. You disregarded them. You just ignored it, thought it would go away, and they're suing you in court. You can go to summonsmaster.com, get your court summons response created either for original creditors or debt collectors. All you have to do is upload a PDF file of your summons, and it will create a response to every allegation against you and a response to every allegation and a defense to help you win your case. All you got to do is sign and date it, get a copy to the court, get a copy to the plaintiff attorney, sit back, get back to doing your normal stuff in your life, try to get you back to normal. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions in the comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.